Hi, my name is Kiefer Sutherland. I am on Facebook Live. This is the first time I have ever done anything like this, so please bear with me. I wanted to answer a few fan questions about an album that I just released called Down in the Hole, and we'll get started. I apologize for the glasses. You said in interviews that your songs are the closest thing you've ever had to a journal or diary. If you could play one of them to your younger self, which would it be? I wrote my best friend, for the record, and it was a song that, for me, was telling me that I needed to like myself before I could like anybody else, or before anybody else could possibly like me. That song specifically, if there was something I could ever play to myself when I was a younger person to try and maybe enjoy life a little more and cut myself some slack, that would have been the song I would have played. The next, Kelly Carmody Spencer. Are there any songs on your current album that you thought you might not be able to share or complete because they were so personal or painful to expose? In a funny kind of response, I would say all of them, but I have to say there's a song called Truth in Your Eyes, which is about someone that I lost very early in my life, someone that I cared very much about. For the first 100 shows that we played on tour, that was a song that I would not introduce. That was a song that was very personal for me. But in all fairness, this record to me was not about other characters. This was very personal and in many ways very cathartic. So to be able to play those songs in front of audiences was something that mattered a great deal. But that song specifically jumped to mind when I saw your question. The next question is from Sharon Elaine Evans. Besides guitar, do you play any other instruments? When I was 4 years old, my mother started me on violin, and by the time I was about 7, I really wanted a guitar. And we struck a deal that if I played violin till I was 10, that she would get me a guitar, and I did in fact do that. I played violin till my 10th birthday. She got me a guitar, and unfortunately, I never picked up a violin again. So the guitar became my thing. And the next question is Susan Gunther. You had once told in an interview that you have great hearing problems caused by not wearing ear protection during gunfights, i.e. Young Guns are 24. Is that still true, and how does it influence music making? I still am pretty much deaf in my left ear. I have not had anything done. I don't wear a hearing aid. I have 8 notes that I can sing anyway, and I use those notes and I can hear them just fine. And again, the music that I make is a lyric-based music, and it is the story that has always been the most important thing to me, and I certainly hear well enough to understand and control a melody. And the last question that I have is, what is the story behind Shirley Jean, which is a song on the record, and that is by, the question is from Sherry West. And Shirley Jean is the one song on my album that is actually not a story from my life. It's not a personal story. I had a huge respect, and still have a huge respect, for songwriters like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Chris Christopherson. And the one thing that was in common with all of those songwriters for me, aside from country music, was that as songwriters they wrote in the first person narrative. For instance, I don't believe that Johnny Cash went to Reno and shot a man to watch him die. But when you hear him sing that song, you feel like he did. And this first-person narrative was very closely connected to what I love about acting. which was playing a character. The only thing that was different for me when I started writing is I started writing about my own personal experiences, which ultimately shaped my album called Down in a Hole. The song Shirley Jean is about a young man in prison who has been in prison since he was 17 years old, and he's about to be executed for the murder of someone. And he's writing a letter home to the only girl he ever knew when he was 16. And in my mind, when I was writing the song, they had barely even kissed. And I just felt it was very tragic that a man had made a mistake so large or so great that it cost him his freedom and ultimately his life over a very slow and long period of time. And to me, that represented a lot of the songs that I had heard from Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard, and that's what inspired me to write that song. And on that note, I just want to say thank you guys very much for getting me through my very nervous first Facebook live chat, and I look forward to seeing you again, and have an awesome day.